So from the very first time that I came to see you and to now, what is the main stuff that you might have noticed about me in terms of progress or mind, just anything, you know? What have you noticed that I've achieved?
Well, you've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
You've always been a high achiever, and I think that it's a hard question to ask because you've always been such a positive person, and as you said, like even at a young age, you were a very, very hard worker, you know. So the thing that I noticed that is the difference really for you is on a physical level is the body work that you're getting. You know, you're getting physiotherapy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're getting stuff that's working on your mind, your body, and your nutrition, you know, your energy and spiritually as well. You know, and I think that's been the difference in that it's like it's only like a nuance like of a difference in terms of you all your values and stuff are the same in terms of training hard and working hard and being the best boxer you can be, but I think now there's more naturalness to you and more relaxed and more fun and you know and and strength too, you know, we're getting good glute power, good shoulders, good abs, you know, so much stronger physically, you know, clearer mentally, focused mentally, and you're more aware of what could be holding you back and what's not holding you back, and just even how you handled Mexico and the fight is outstanding. Yeah. You know, so I think that you've grown not only on a physical level of strength and power and control and speed of a boxer, an elite boxer, but also your mind is at a different level. Yeah, you know,
and you can see you can see this.
And spiritually, you know, you really don't hold on to things that will hold you back anymore. Yeah. You don't fight for your limitations and, you know, blame the world as to why everything's unfair. You are really now wired to everything is working for me and not against me. And the only thing that is against me is my mind. And if I let that go and just go with what is, and then see how that can work for me, I'm a winner and I'm on the winning track, and that's what I see. You know, we're all humans. We need to digest things that don't work or go our way. But you always, you know, come round and step up and work harder, and your focus and your intention is so clear and so much stronger, and your heart. You know, I didn't know you before, and but your heart now is exploding. You know, in terms of wanting to share with anyone who would find this video valuable. Incredible. More relaxed. You know, more energy. You know, when I first met you, you said, Mimi, one of the things is after a fight. These are before the fights that you've had when we started working together.
Like Nanaka even, which was, you know.
And you said before, you know, said every single time I have a fight, I have to go home. There's no after party, no drinks, nothing. So I remember when we first worked together, and you said if I win, you might not see me. And when you won that night. I can't even remember if it was December the 15th or it must have been the one before.
I think that was
No, it's the one before.
Okay.
Yeah, where you won and we were out to 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
And walking home.
True.
You're just like grabbing something to eat and you just had so much energy. But it's not even just what I think, you know, even the trainers, Chris Mucky, you know, everyone was saying, I've never seen Dennis so relaxed, so chilled before a fight.
I mean,
you know, so relaxed and chilled in a good state, good body state, healthy, and so much more energy after the fight. That's incredible.
I mean, like in Mexico, I've never. I'll just be honest. The Jimmy Kelly fight in April last year was the first time I enjoyed Fight Week. And I said I was going to.
That's the first time we worked together?
No, we worked before that.
Jimmy
then Nanaka one.
But
remember, I was stressed with that one too because I had that injury that was. People thought it.
But you have to talk about that injury.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'll just say with that injury, I did an injury like something like it was my second last bar. I did an injury where what was it, rib cartilage?
Rib cartilage.
Rib cartilage, and I came in here in a bad way, and I seen, so Keegan was working on the Saturday, he looked after me, and then I seen you again on the Monday.
Yeah.
And you didn't really say that much, but you sent me up to a fella called Hislop. Am I right in saying that?
Matt Hislop.
Yeah, and Matt said to me, Matt goes, Dennis, I see what it is. He goes, it's a 6-week injury, but don't worry, I can fix it in 4. I said, I'm boxing in 2. I'm boxing in 1.5. And I was like, oh no. So Glenn was like, you'll probably have to get a cortisol injection and that. So I went down, got x-rayed. They seen the big where it was. And Glenn had said, Dennis, after I taken some anti-inflammatories, the pain, that excruciating pain had subsided. So I was able to get back into train. And as long as that was able to keep going, Glenn didn't want to chance the cortisol until the week of the fight, 4 days before the fight, because cortisol can stop you from training. And Glenn is very headstrong on, if it's just pain, you will get through it. Like I love that about Glenn too. Some people might think it's it's full on, but I love that. And because we made that decision that day before I even went in. I said to Glenn goes, when I got home, I was like shaking a little bit with the pain as well. And Glenn said, how are you? I said, look, doesn't matter. We will be standing there on Saturday night, October 17th, with my hands in the air. And then from that point, we'll walk backwards. So I came in, seen Keegan and everything else. And so anyway, I'd worked through, I'd gotten through the pain, and had my last spar, which was a blessing to get through that without redoing everything. And I went in on the Tuesday to get the cortisol injection, to put the x-ray to see where to go, and I couldn't find it anymore. This is only 10 days after it happened. So with me visualizing, doing the right stuff, visualizing winning, visualizing being in perfect strength and movement. So I mean, I think that was an incredible leap for me also, in terms of they couldn't find it. What does that mean? Does that mean that somehow I had healed it in the space of 10 days? Is that even possible? I don't know, but all I know is it was certainly something that I had my mind on coming into the fight, and a couple of rounds in, that was it. I was gone, and I was just in there. I was doing, and had a couple of flow moments in there fighting Anaka, which I really enjoyed.
Yes.
So
it was a great fight.
Yeah. So coming from that and all the work that we done from October to April against Jimmy Kelly was the first, and I had made up my mind that I was going to enjoy fight week, weigh-in day and fight day. And I did. I enjoyed it. For the first time in my life, I wasn't nervous or stressed going there. It's usually, let's just get this done. Let's just get it out of the road.
This is the biggest difference that I've noticed.
Yeah.
When you asked me the question.
So it wasn't just, let's just get this out of the road. It was, let's go, let's enjoy the warm-up. Because the feeling of when Glenn wraps my hands and you go like that and you punch his hand, and the feeling of that, it's power. Usually it's like nervous person, yeah, that feels good, okay, now what's next? That was like I was sitting with the feeling,
Loving it.
I was like, I'm going to go out, we're going to put on small gloves now, and I'm going to go out and, I know, this sounds a little bit primal, but this is the part of the game, and that's what happened. And I remember before I knew it, the fight was over, and we'd been picked up by a limo to be brought home, and I came back out again after that. So, that was it. That was a turning point in my career where I can now enjoy all of this. Work
Not
my
many
ass
boxers
off
can
in the
say
gym.
that.
Smart. Sorry.
Not many boxers can say that.
Yeah, true.
Going into a ring, it's, not many people can say that.
Yeah.
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 But that's the thing that separates, the champions.
Well, I mean, and that for me changed everything. Energy levels, everything. Because I even remember having a flashback before of being out for something to eat, and I had a phone call about getting the lift there, which was 2 weeks before the fight.
Yeah.
This was before the Anaka fight, and instantly I got this flood of stress and anxiety about fight night, that feeling again, and now that doesn't happen anymore. Now I'm like, fight night, so that all. I mean, what happened to me in Mexico, I cannot, the weeks leading up, I was in my heart space. Which again you will find obviously this very weird for someone like me to speak about this, but I was so in my heart space that every now and again I would be so grateful for where I am, for what's about to happen, how ready I am. The tears could come to my eyes, just in any sense. So I was not in anywhere else but in my heart space. And on fight week in Mexico, I mean, the love and support I was getting as well was phenomenal. I knew what I was there to do, and everything around it just felt beautiful. And I've no problem using those words to describe something. So what people might describe as a vicious situation to be getting in with such a beast of a champion up to that point. So
in Mexico.
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Which we knew we'd been brought to his backyard for a reason, is because they didn't want to fight us anywhere else. And I'll tell you a really funny moment, which I
so they can have their panel, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, to talk about
Maybe we should
everything.
say that.
No, I mean, I'll have no problem saying it to Mongolia the next time. So, I mean, a beautiful, a funny moment, and I remember I told Glenn about it again afterwards, and I spoke to some people. I was so balanced. Like the day of the fight, myself and Mucky, and Zach and that, we did the breathing. Wim Hof breathing, we went for a walk, we did our stretch, it was just, I went to lie down and have a nap, which I usually can nap, but now I can't anymore because I'm kind of excited, like it's completely different mindset.
Yeah.
And anyway, I remember everything, we'd gone into the changing rooms, Paul and Danny had put the flag up on there and everything was just really well. And then Glenn goes, Dennis, let's come in here for a minute. And we went in and we went over the 8-point plan again. And as Glenn was going through the 8-point plan, I just went to myself, he said, a moment he said, do not stand at the ropes. This is where Mongolia gains confidence and he will become powerful. Do not stop at the ropes. If you feel the ropes against your leg, you either move or you go forward and attack him. And at that moment, time just stopped and I went, whoa, we're here. This fight was announced 6 weeks ago. We're here. I'm here right now. I'm about to go out and face Jamie Mongolia. And then I had a couple, this is all in a nanosecond, pictures of like visions of him coming in like this, like knocking out Salam Ali and just destroying fellas, like 26 knockouts out of 32 wins. No one's gotten near to him on the scorecards. And I'm like, here I am in his backyard. And then I just went, oh, so what? And next thing, boom, back to real life. Finished off the points with Glenn and back in and I felt more powerful than ever. And I'll never, ever, ever forget that moment where...
See, most people will have that moment and get paralyzed there.
Yeah.
They get stuck there, but you were able to shift that, detach from that, delete that, let that go. It was a moment.
Yeah.
But a moment that was defining, but not debilitating.
Yeah.
And on the contrary, quite amazing because you could feel separated from that, which made you feel even more powerful.
Yeah, it did. I mean, because I remember I was saying to myself, I'm going to show the world now, like, and again, we'll talk about that. I knew my best performance was to come, and I'm going to show the world. Watch this.
Still to come. Your best performance is still to come.
And even now, it's still to come.
Oh, 100%.
So actually, all of that and all the way it came together was quite good, and you could see afterwards, we're talking about attachment especially. After the decisions had been drawn out and he had got the decision. And a lot of people were absolutely gobsmacked by the way I reacted to it. And I actually had a sponsor and a very good friend speak to me, very heartfelt. And he was, obviously he was nearly in tears, very emotional. And he said, he gave me a hug and he just said, it's like the Dalai Lama says, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react that determines the outcome. And in that moment, now that meant a lot to me, and it still does. And it means, in that moment when I felt that it all had just been ripped, the funny thing about it was I still felt like I won, and I was able to carry that feeling, and I didn't need the belt around my waist at that point. So I had given away. Yes, I'm inspired to be world champion, and yes, I still will be, but I had given away the attachment to the material value of it. What I craved was the mental achievement of getting to that point, And to breaking through all the barriers and chains that I had put on myself throughout the years of low self-worth and perceptions of stuff and all this, to get to that point, and the way I trained in the training camp and everything that I put and reached new levels, and to get to that point there and then, no one was going to take that away from me. I spoke about how it felt and, you know, what had gone on and how I wasn't happy with the result or everything else, and I'm still not whinging about it. But inside afterwards, I did a video interview, which is still up on now, and people talk about it, how I sat there and I was still happy. I was wearing a Mexican hat and I was just having a laugh, and it was because I had achieved in my mind, and I didn't need the belt to rectify that, and I didn't need anyone else's approval. It was just me there and then in that moment. And
because you had won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had won against all odds, against all things that may or may not have been going on in the background.
Yeah.
You had the best result possible in that reality, in that situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if it was the same fight somewhere else in the world, you definitely would have that belt.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it was, and I knew this, coming back on the bus, before I did that second interview, I thought to myself, right, because I have a mission statement, and it's very clear, and, you know, my boxing career is to hit certain goals and be world champion and all that, but it's for a greater after boxing as well, to move on and to have a platform to give back, let's just say, leave it at that. And I thought to myself, after that, my goals are still intact, nothing's changed, and now there's been a massive silver lining from everything. I couldn't have asked for a bigger brand building situation than the controversy that went around what had happened. The commentator from The Zone, who is all the money in boxing right now from what's going on, came in and said, you know, you won that fight at least 7 rounds to 5. We've been contacted by major personalities in boxing and around the world and said, you know, you've won that fight. No, I've got videos from some of the people, and I just, you know, but I didn't need all of that, but it's all there. And the brand building from that now means that the next time I step out there, all eyes will be on that, and the brand and the legacy that I'm trying to leave behind has grown. So
Dennis Hogan from Ireland, Brisbane, Brisbane, Australia to Mexico.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just all made sense. It made sense because my goals afterwards and everything else, this actually plays into all of that. So so the next time we do it now, you know, there's been silver linings, but there's also been a golden lining too, which I can't speak about now. Well, by the time this video comes out, it will be announced that Golden Boy are signing me a co-promotional deal with DDP, and I'll now have everything I need to become not just world champion but unified world champion. And so
huge achievement and honor.
Yeah. Now, well,
congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your help. So, could imagine I had a spat dummy. Imagine I wasn't where I was in my mentality, and I had a spat dummy, and I had have acted out of character. Would have done nothing for me. You know, anybody that even did think I was going to win would have just went, "Who's that for?"
I think it would just take you back internally.
Yeah.
All the achievement that you've done, all the positive thinking, all the visions, all the positive affirmations, all the mind power, if you had bought into that, that would have just taken it away. A lot of people feel like they've been told lies or the life is stolen when something doesn't go their way. Yeah. You know, and they give everything up. Yeah. And you didn't do that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's, I think it's more not the physical damage because you heal, right? Yeah. But it's the mental, emotional, spiritual journey that doesn't heal from that. And the road that you chose has actually empowered you and lifted you up and given you more momentum and more power in terms of, you know, waves that kind of like actually lift or contribute. You know, it's actually how you have dealt with that has lifted you up. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And one of the things that I really find very interesting with you've been really good with this, and it's a lot of stuff that I would have learned with MJB with Mitch as well.
Yes.
But I remember in the lead up, to certain fights, and I'm not going to name anybody anyway. And I remember the psychology behind boxing and everything has really worked well for me. So, for example, say now a lot of banter is going on online between two fighters. And I remember some of the conversations that we've had have been quite good, because coming into like press conferences with fighters and some of the stuff that they're trying to put on you, and we're able to mull that over and have a talk about it and work out a psychological game plan. Now, I didn't really know how much of a psychological warfare goes on in boxing and everything else, but usually when a fighter is calling you something or trying to portray you as something, it's usually something from them.
Yeah.
And I remember in particular my third last fight, actually in the last couple, Munguia's one was very quiet. That one was over phone. It was all just people asking questions. It wasn't that much. But the last couple of fighters, when they started calling me stuff and say that I am a certain way, that usually tells me that they're a certain way and they're projecting to me.
Yeah.
And so I remember one day we were in doing some physio, and I remember talking about what one of the fighters was calling me, and we were able to dissect that, and we were able to see what was going on for them and what I would then say at the press conference. Yeah. Which I remember worked an absolute treat, because what we had realised was, what had been going on for that person, and I was able to talk about that and keep throwing it out there, which then made that other opponent back down, and I could completely see the mentality of it, which has given me a massive advantage. Is there anything about that you find funny, or would you like not funny, but it's just, other people don't know this stuff, they really don't know it.
I think a lot of people think to become a champion or world champion boxer, you have to be gifted, number one. You have to be strong.
Yeah.
And you just have to box your heart out.
Yeah.
But we see a lot of gifted boxers that don't make the journey.
Yeah.
They don't make it, and a lot of trainers that train the boxer and go, you're going to be world champion one day, because they see so much potential in this boxer.
Yeah.
And very sadly, a lot of them just don't make it.
Yeah.
And I think they don't make it not because their muscles don't heal or their joints don't heal or the bones are broken. No, because you just, after a few months, I've never been a boxer, but after a couple of weeks, your body's back to normal.
Yeah.
But it's your mind. It's
Yes.
your mind. It's really your emotions. And your emotions are led by what you think, and what you think is led by your programs or what you've been taught, what you tell yourself, what people have told you growing up, and any incidences that you've had in your life. And when we were talking about, what you were talking about is projection, is we see the world how we are.
Yes, and this is exactly it.
Yeah.
So when they're saying Dennis Hogan is this, Dennis Hogan doesn't do that, Dennis Hogan is like, well, you're seeing all those things in me because they're in you. And so that's why I keep bringing it back to me whenever they ask me. One guy, a second last guy I fought, is like, Dennis is overlooking me, he's this, that, the other. I'm like, I brought it back to me. I said, I'm not overlooking anybody. Yes, I'm all about the bigger picture. I'm all about being world champion. But I'm only focused on my abilities. I'm not looking at my opponent. Glenn will look at my opponent. He will dissect it. We'll work a game plan.
It's not your job.
After that, it's not about me. It's not about the other person. And that's why it's really me that's facing me in the ring, because it's, can I rise to the challenge of what I need to do? And that's why that can sometimes get confused. People say, you're your real opponent. It's can you overcome you? Can you let go of you?
Getting in the way of you.
It's you getting in the way of you to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's mentally and physically.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing that separates you with so many other gifted, talented, young boxers out there, that you put in, firstly, you put in the hard yards. You believe in yourself and you do the work. But number two, you realise that it's just not what you do training physically, it's not what you eat, although that's important, but it's how you think. It's how you process things, how you let go of emotions, how you choose to create your reality with your thoughts, how you choose, because you can choose to believe you know, to blame and to hold on to negativity, but it doesn't do you any good. You know, so you choose to think, okay, well, what's the good in this for me? How am I going to rise to this? And I know myself. I know my self-worth. I know what I did. And I know that I've come a freaking long way, and I have worked very hard, and I'm the winner. You know, in this round, I really came through. It's really amazing when you think about it.
Well, that's it. I mean, and when I'm standing there with a fighter, no matter what they're saying, I'm in my mind. I'm like, I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you're a part of my journey. You know what I mean? And
it's amazing.
If I can stand there and just be grateful in that moment, and also as well, you know, when someone says something to you that's derogatory or negative, you know, again, it's like, what's that saying? It's what you think of me is more of a projection of you.
It's what you are.
And how I react to you is an awareness of me. And so that's, you know, that's across the board. If someone's saying derogatory about someone, it's really just projection from themselves. And that's just the way I've looked at life the last couple of years, and that's why I've given away any resentment, I can literally be told or said anything to, and it's water off a duck's back, because it's not really about me. If you're calling me something, it's not about me really. I mean, if I get around just being the best that I can be, I can't see what else I can possibly do. But in that moment,
coming from a place of fear, so you understand it's also fear-based.
Yes, true.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage, you know, and a lot of love, you know, to be in a place. But I think what you've been able to do is get yourself to a place of presence. You know, and Eckhart Tolle will talk about this, you know, the Buddhism will talk about this, but it's about being present and being grateful to who you are, where you've come and what you've achieved, and the person in front of you. And you're so in a place of love and self-assured that you're not threatened. You know? Even though it seems like a threat, but you understand at another level of absolute. Well, one of the greatest things, and I never even became conscious of it, was about fear. And I've always been a person that just with like no fear, like really. But when I really break it down now, and I think it's more of a spiritual journey with fear, because really what you're fearing is an end result, or you're projecting stuff on it. Getting into the ring with one guy, it was just inspiration. Like, he had knocked out 26 out of 32. And even going to Mexico, I still had no fear. People were saying, I expect to win this. Do you think you'll need a knockout? And I was just like, I don't care. I'm just here to win. I believe I will win. I believe I can outperform. And there's just no fear. And I just have no, you know, there's just no fear in me. And I don't know where that all, I mean, just an awareness of myself and everything else and my beliefs. Fear is just gone from my life. I think you had a faith.
Yeah.
Fear has been replaced with faith.
Yeah.
Faith in the system, faith in the universe, faith in Glenn.
Yeah.
Faith in everything that you've done. Faith in, you know, knowing that you have, you know, attracted all the people in your life.
Yeah.
You know, at the right time to get you to the level or where you need to be.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing to say, is replacing fear with faith.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that through religion, which is another dogma or fear-based thing in its own right. But you've been able to do that without needing religion, although, you know, we are very spiritual and believe in a bigger essence.
Yeah.
You know, essentially knowing when you're in that place, you are God.
Yeah.
We are one with everything.
Yeah.
And feel blessed with everything.
Yeah.
You know, and that's I think that's really amazing. It's an amazing thing about you, Dennis.
Well, thank you. And I mean, one of the things I realized that everything along the way, like, I mean, at the time it was kind of a little bit traumatic when I done my neck in and I didn't fight for a year. But when I look back, so it's easy to join the dots when you look back. Everything that's happened to me has all been for my benefit. And I can see that through some of the stuff that we've done and some of the stuff I've done with MJB. These are negative circumstances that I would have carried on with. But even just looking at stuff like that, I wouldn't change any of that stuff. I wouldn't change what happened in Mexico now at this point. And what I've got, when you get yourself to that point, you stop trying to join the dots already, and you just kind of believe, because you can see the benefit in everything after it happens. So you just now start to believe that everything's happening for the benefit. So you start to reverse engineer it in the opposite way, if that makes sense. So I'm at that place now, which is great, and again, it did all come together. But I mean, this is all very this is quite deep stuff, Mimi, and if you know, I mean. This is stuff that I love to talk about now, though, you know, and this has been a transition for me to be able to get to a level to speak like this. And a lot of the books that I read, I love to get as deep as possible. And we've had conversations that I wouldn't even want to record for the likes of, you know, vibration and all that kind of stuff. So that brings me on to my next part, and that's that it really resonated with me, and I love the story of how you, because I asked you one day, how did you get into this stuff? I will show a little clip of all of the certificates that you have. You've worked with Tony Robbins and lots of people. You've mastered wealth and all different sort of stuff, and NLP, and am I right in saying all this? And I asked you, like, you know, what set you on your journey? Because and you know, obviously, usually a void gives way to a value, and if that applies in this way, can you tell us why and what put you on this track?
So it's really interesting because, you know, as you said, you know, in our life, you know, when tragedies or a bad event happens, you never choose it again, but you need to work through it in a way where I think naturally we all tend to carry heavy baggage when bad things happen. And I think that the trick to life is to identify what's holding you back and then take with you all the golden gems which will set you free in the future. And my journey started when in 1997 my mum was diagnosed with acute myelodysplastic leukemia, and I was first year uni at the time, studying Bachelor of Physiotherapy. So very, very evidence-based, very scientific based, and I remember receiving this phone call while I was at uni, and you know, it was someone saying, "Oh, Mimi, get to the hospital. Mum's just been pulled out." She was actually working at the time, and they said, meet the whole family at the hospital. And when I arrived there, because I was studying physiotherapy and in health, you know, the family kind of pushed me to speak with the doctor, and the doctor said, you know, this is your mum's diagnosis. It's an AML, acute myelodysplastic leukemia. Unfortunately, the prognosis for this is terrible. There is no cure for this. At the moment, we're just treating people with chemotherapy, which has not been successful. There is a trial chemotherapy, which is double the dose in half the time, so double the dose in 3 months rather than having a dose over 6 months. We don't know how your mother will go. She was 53 at the time. And talking about, you know, being in a headspin, I couldn't even compute what the doctor was saying. I was saying to the doctor, "Oh, so when can she go home?" And he's like, "I don't think you're understanding. Your mum's not going anywhere. You know, we can't say, but you know, the current treatment, 20% of patients will go into remission, and then after a year, 80% of that 20% will actually relapse. And then in the second year, 80% of that remaining 20% will relapse. And then third year, 80% of that remaining 20% will relapse. Fourth year, same, 80% of that 20% will relapse. Fifth year, no one's around." Wow. And
so
when you hear that,
so the chance of getting to 5 years is like 1%, not even.
Yeah, not even.
Not
like,
even.
You know, when I heard that, I thought, when we get bad news like this, you just grapple onto anything. And so I did everything possible in terms of medicine and Western world. You know, we did everything the doctor told us to do, but our family explored as well. And you know, the universe brought to us a beautiful lady. Her name was Gisette, and she was a French lady who did spiritual human yoga energy. And this woman just came to my mother's bedside every day for 3 months, or every day for the whole chemo period actually, and just sat with mum for not long, maybe sometimes half an hour, 15 minutes or 60 minutes, and it's, you know, healing energy technique. And the doctors were astounded because, you know, we would get blood results every day, and instead of having the white blood cells decrease, you know, they actually remain stable or were stabilized, and sometimes even increase. And the worst side effect my mother had was hair loss. She actually put on weight. She actually looked more flushed and more healthy, and you know, it was really amazing. And I don't know whether it's the power of love or the power of prayers, but we, you know, my dad then sent my sister and I to Switzerland to learn this spiritual human energy, which was very woo-woo to most people, you know, and I just thought, I'll do anything. You do anything. And then so we went to Switzerland to learn that, and then we went to Thailand to learn the advance of that, and then I started to learn more about understanding energy, spirituality, healing, visualization, meditation, and that how that can positively impact your body as well, and how negative emotions, negative thinking, when we hold on to unforgiveness, when we hold on to anger, when we hold on to betrayal, or beating ourselves up with lack of self-worth or lack of love, you're just really affecting your own nervous system, your immune system, and your body.
Making your body acidic as well.
Acidic, yeah. So I sat with my mum, taught her to visualize. I said, Mum, you know, chemo, you're in your body, you're tired because it's a battlefield in there. The chemotherapy is killing, you know, the army of cancerous cells, but in the meantime, they're wounded as well. You've got lots of dead soldiers in there, and, you know, I've just got a lot of visualization going on with healing and being healthy. And now it's, you know, 2019, you know, 20, you know, more than 20 years ago, and she's still in remission.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, she's still in remission. And so I really, from there, I obviously graduated as a physiotherapist. I worked with rugby players, elite athletes. I worked overseas in London in Harley Street, which is one of the most prestigious medical streets in London, and then I came back to Brisbane to open my own practice to really incorporate, you know, every part of wellness, every part of well-being, every part of feeling good, you know, and that's working with your body, working with your mechanics in terms of your joints, your ligaments, your muscles and your nerves, but working with your nervous system as well, understanding how your mind can really impact your nervous system in a positive way and in a negative way. And then, you know, with Darren, obviously with the gym, and you and Mucky, you know, strength training, and natology, Sarah Henshaw with natology, we understand the importance of, you know, of your mind, your body, your emotions, your spirituality, and I think that this is something, nutrition, you know, your environment.
You know, it might even be worth mentioning, when we do the live blood analysis over there at natology, usually if I've done a training session or if I've drank coffee, the blood cells will clump together. It doesn't mean anything bad. But I've gone in there before where I've not trained. I've drank lots of water before I went in, usually where everything looks really good then. It gives you a really good reading. But I've been stressed. The blood clumps together like you had just done a session. So we're like, wow, this is incredible. What's going on? And I'm actually quite stressed right now. Okay, great. I'll come back in a few days and maybe do some meditation, everything else like that, and lots of water and everything else, and just let it go, whatever it was, and get over it, whether it was some conversation I needed to have or whatever, and then boom. And so it's incredible. You can see it on a molecular level. Like, that is quite molecular, and look at so it's crazy.
So it's not one thing. It's not one thing that is the cure. Like, it's not just go and meditate, or it's not just, you know, cleanse, or not just box, or not just train. It's really understanding the combination of things that make you. You know, and it's understanding all the facets of wellness and well-being and freedom. in your body and in your movement and in your mind.
Yeah.
And like and when you're training, like really, being free in your training.
Yeah. Well, one thing that Glenn actually works on is about that fast, quick motion, and that's relaxation. But that's when you get more. Glenn teaches that he's relaxed. Like, so a punch that Glenn teaches that Jeff is just unbelievably good at is a real fast uppercut, right? But you tense the hand at the last second. Everything is fast, snappy, relaxed, and at the last second, right?
It's almost like Kung Fu,
Well, it is. It comes from martial arts.
Yeah.
But when Jeff lands it, it's like someone's just picked up a 6-inch block and just gone bang in my face. I'm like, oh, didn't even look like much. Like, it's just like this really, and that's just all of that relaxation at the last second.
All your energy.
Yeah.
In the Chinese philosophy, they call it qi.
Yeah.
All the energy, all the flow, all the rhythm, and the relaxation, and then hitting it. Yeah. And it's the speed too.
Yeah, because you're relaxed, you can get the speed up as well. So it all comes in combination. So that's good too. But one last thing I wanted to ask you was, and I was going to say it before, but I had forgotten. But when we're doing the flow zone stuff, you're able to test me. You're able to ask my subconscious a question.
Yes.
And it's able to answer you.
Yes.
I found that incredible.
Yes.
Without giving the game away.
Yeah, of course.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's like muscle energy techniques, know. Because a lot of the times we're very smart, we're very intelligent people. We've read all the self-help books. We've written, affirmations after affirmations. We say we've forgiven our father, we've forgiven our mother, we've forgiven people, but in our heart and in our body, it's still holding on to it.
Yeah.
It's still holding on to fear or unforgiveness. And so we can test to see if the body believes it, if the subconscious mind believes it, or what else is hanging around there.
Yeah.
And do you remember we did one time and then you said, oh, man, I felt something holding me back a little bit.
It was empowered. Like
and then that's amazing because then we can go, okay, what's that little bit?
Yeah.
So with you, it's just the nuances that are holding you back that will set you free.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. And then as we do the flow zone thing before a fight, and when you test it and you're like, yes. And there's two ways that I know that you've done it, that you can do it. But as you're saying that, it for some reason, like, it just makes me feel more powerful.
Yeah.
When you say good, whatever way my body's reacted, I don't really know what's going on, but you do. And whatever way my body's reacting, you're like, good. I'm just like, whoa, it is great.
Yeah.
Because I'm answering these big questions like, are you this? Are you that? Are you ready? This? Are you in the mind? And then boom.
Because good, we're locking it all in.
And after that, when we walk out and it's time for me to go in and get ready, I am just like, I am on fire.
You're on.
I am on and ready to go,
Yeah, and I think it's tuning into energies too, because I muscle test you, but I also, it's like, if we were doing any sort of meditation or past life regressions or, whatever you see, if I can see it, then I know we're on the right track.
Yeah.
And that might sound a little bit out there, a little bit crazy, but, it's the muscle testing in your body, and then also I feel it, I see it, I know it. I know when you're ready.
Oh, I know, and I know you know for two reasons. Number one, I remember doing physio, and you just I was just sitting there. I remember lying there going, needing to go to the toilet. So I drank a lot of water, and you were like, do you need to go to the toilet? I was like, how do you know these things? So and I'll escalate on that. That's on a smaller level, but after my fight last year, I went to Barcelona, and I had been sitting there, and me, Danny and Paul had been sitting there after having something to eat and having a chat, and we always had these progressive conversations, and in terms of, mindset and everything else, and Paul said to me, let me play devil's advocate right now, you've just beaten Jimmy Kelly, and this, and you're here, and, and I've heard, there's, the way you spar and all this talk about how good you can spar, do this, that, the other. Like, when is that going to, when are you going to, when you meet the world champion, like, when is that performance going to come? Because I do always say, I know that I know sometimes when I'm in sparring, everything is just unbelievable, and in fights, I have been guilty of just doing what I needed to do to win. So I remember we had that conversation, and Paul said, let me play devil's advocate, can you pull out that big performance, when needed? And Danny turned around and said, I think that Dennis hasn't had the right opponent yet to pull out all the stops, all the gears, and to have his best performance. And I really resonated with that, and Paul was like, yeah, okay. I know Paul knew it too, because he'd seen it in sparring and everything else. And I went up and I thought about it for a bit, and I had a bit of a nap, and we were heading out again later on that evening for another group team. But as I woke up, I had a message from you, Mimi, and it was incredible. Can't remember exactly how it started, but you had said, and Dennis, I just get the feeling, you actually said anything, Dennis, I just thought about you there today, and I said I'll give you a message, and you said your best performance is yet to come. And that was just, there's a vibration of frequency that you obviously popped into your head that very day. Like, we hadn't spoke for maybe 4 or 5 weeks up to that point.
Well, actually, it was a knowing. I knew, but it was a knowing that I knew that your best fight was yet to come, but I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't tell you, because the perfect time was to tell you then.
Yeah.
And it was just this knowing that your best fight is yet to come.
Yeah.
And now even your best fight is still yet to come.
Yeah, true, yeah, still yet to come.
Your best fight
and
is still out there.
Yeah.
Your best fight is still out there, and isn't that an amazing feeling?
It's an amazing feeling. I was only saying to Mucky the other day when I was training, I'm like, coming off that last performance, and I'm still getting stronger, we're still hitting PBs, I'm still learning more with Glenn, we're doing more stuff. To know that I'm at that level and to be doing more, it's pretty much a dream come true. Like, from where I believed I was as a kid, teenager, everything else, to be there now and to know that I'm still improving on that, it's a magical feeling, and it's a great feeling to know.
Yeah, and still yet to come, and I feel that, I know that, and I believe that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So God help whoever's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still many more yet to come, at least a few.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is it worth mentioning, I came in one day, so the day the fight got locked in with the Mexican fella, I had a dream that night.
Oh, yes,
okay.
Please mention.
I had a dream that night, and in the dream, this is very vivid, in the dream I was fighting in Mexico. Now,
You told me this dream.
Yes,
you
I
came
did.
in and you told me this dream.
I remember the fight was going on. It was early in the fight. It was like round 2 or 3 or so, and I remember it was a cut over Mungaya's eye, and the fight had been stopped, and I was announced the winner, and I was like, yes, and I could really resonate as the feeling of the world champion. I was like, I've done this, and then all of a sudden they brought me my belt, but I noticed the belt was made of cardboard. And I went, what's this? This isn't the real belt. Where's my belt? Like, where? And then all of a sudden I started to snap out of the dream, and I started going, oh no, is this a dream? No, because obviously I had achieved the dream of being world champion. And I went, what a weird dream. And I thought, without looking about it too much, I thought obviously this could be a sign that I win the world championship. But I couldn't resonate why they would give me a cardboard belt. And
maybe you would be cheated?
Well, it turns out, if dreams have any real resonation with real life, you told me afterwards, you were like, yeah, that was a bit of a red flag for me, Dennis. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I get it now. On the night, the fight before mine finished with a head clash in around 2 or 3. And then obviously I had been expected to be announced the winner, and I didn't get the belt. So Manny Pacquiao has spoken about dreaming about times that he's lost. He knew he was going to lose on 2 separate occasions. He dreamt about it, and he went and lost those 2 times. I don't know still. I can't still say for sure, but that's what happened, and make of it as you will. Mimi, I really appreciate your time. I really enjoyed this chat with you, and definitely want to get you on again at another later date when we've got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, more depth.
I don't know what the next level is. I've certainly wrote some levels, but there's more levels to hit.
Anything that if your audience are interested in, we can definitely go deeper into all the topics that we've talked about.
Well, that's something. If anybody wants to hear me and Mimi speak on a deeper level than what we just spoke about, please comment and we can catch up again and do it. Mimi, your business is here, 76 Commercial Road in Functionwell.
Yes.
You've got good few physios. You stick to the life coaching yourself. You're getting a lot of traffic in the door now, so you're highly sought after. There's no doubt about that. But there still is, if you're looking for Mimi's help, through physio, through everything else, how do they get in contact? What do they need to do?
Thank you. Thanks for that. Physique Physiotherapy in Newstead, 76 Commercial Road. You can visit our website. It's physiquephysio.com.au, or you can email us at admin@physiquephysio.com.au.
Perfect. And again, if you don't get all that, just hit me a message. I'll send you their details.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah, we want the best for you.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mimi. I appreciate it. Cheers.
So good.